Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your old pal Mr. Butter coming back at you again. I'm recording this video on the day that we saw the AQUA Jordan 8s released. I've never owned this pair, but they immediately take me back to childhood. If you're into kicks and you feel like hanging out, then hit that subscribe button. Let's take a look at these AQUA Jordan 8s. And real quick, I gotta show you what I got on feet. I just took these off ice today and they are extremely comfortable. I absolutely love this pair. I know that a lot of people aren't too crazy about them, but of course this is the great Jordan 5s. I think these things are great. They're very comfortable on feet. I like the materials that they used, and I feel like this style is just timeless. Let me know what you think of them. What is happening, everybody? It is wonderful to be back here with y'all. Before I get started today, you may have heard in that little intro or throughout this video, you'll probably hear it. I think my neighbors are sighting in some rifles, so if you hear gunshots, don't sweat it. They're not aiming at me or anything, and it's perfectly fine. I'm perfectly safe. Sometimes I have to explain the West Virginia side of things if you're not familiar with it. But anyhow, to the shoes, as I already said, I have never owned this pair. The 8 is a silhouette that I've never really felt like, oh, I need that shoe, I need that shoe. But if there is one colorway of the Jordan 8, it's definitely the AQUAs. And we'll get into why that is, and we'll talk about that some more. But just wanted to put that out there. The 8s, I kind of feel a lot like I do with 14s. I just don't wear them that much. Whenever I go to rock a Jordan Retro, it's usually a 1, a 3, a 4. Sometimes a 6 or a 7, very rarely an 8. But anyhow, I just wanted to lay that out there for y'all. All that being said, this is my favorite colorway on a Jordan 8, so I'm very glad I was able to pick these up. I grabbed them at my local Finish Line. I had a $20 off coupon, so I think altogether they were right around $205 or something like that. I think retail was either $215 or $225. It must have been $215. But getting to the box, it's a pretty standard Jordan Retro box. We've seen a handful of different silhouettes come in this style. Gray on the bottom. It's got the lid that comes all the way off, and it's a black lid with some Air Jordan branding and then a red Jumpman on the top. The tag reads Air Jordan 8 Retro. The colors are black, Tour red, Flint gray, and bright Concord. I believe that's what it is. I went true to size with the size 10 on this pair. I recommend everybody go true to size. Don't go a half size up or you'll be swimming in them. But with all that box talk out of the way, talk about a
blast from the past.
This is one of those colorways that as soon as I see it, I just get such a nostalgic overload. And there's multiple reasons why. First off, I love the combination of like purple and teal that we see around the base of this shoe. During the early 90s, I was a big Charlotte Hornets fan, and part of the reasoning for that wasn't just because I liked the players, but it was also because I love the colors on their uniforms. There's just something about the way that teal and purple goes together. I was a huge fan of it then, and I'm still a huge fan of it now. This silhouette and this colorway in particular, I still vividly remember the first time that I saw these, and it wasn't when Jordan wore them in the All-Star game. The first time that I saw these was at my grandparents' house, and I have an uncle who was really into all the newest Jordans, and he got every pair as soon as they would come out. He was just a big sneakerhead. He was a really good athlete whenever he was younger and everything. But anyhow, I remember he came over to my grandparents' house, and they had a little landing inside of their front door where everybody would leave their shoes. Well, he took his shoes off, and I remember just laying on the floor and kind of inspecting this exact shoe, and I just went over every inch of it, and I was kind of in disbelief because you could see the merge from the Jordan 6 to the Jordan 7, and then from the Jordan 7 to the Jordan 8, maybe the front of it looked a little bit familiar, and then maybe that booty on the inside, kind of like we see on Huaraches and that sort of thing, maybe that felt a little bit familiar. But to me, whenever I saw the rest of this shoe, It just all seemed like something brand new. It seemed like it was something from outer space. I loved all this bold, bright color on the side of it. And it was just something that was so different that I really remember just looking at these, especially the chenille badge there on the tongue. I remember I was actually like feeling that and just getting a good look at it, as well as this X strap that goes across the laces. It just felt like something so futuristic at that time. And like I said, the Jordan 8 is not one of my favorite Jordan silhouettes, simply because to me, these things are almost like moon boots. Like, this is not a silhouette that I would throw on, definitely not during the summer. I will wear these during the cooler weather and that sort of thing, but there is no way I could wear this shoe on a day like today. They're not breathable, they're big, they're bulky, and like I already said, they just kind of remind me of like a moon boot or something like that. And as I say that, that's not meant to be me knocking the shoes. I love them for what they are. I love the nostalgia that comes with this silhouette, especially in this colorway, but this is never a shoe that I think like, oh, I'm gonna beat these. These are gonna be worn into the ground. I could probably go a decade and these will probably still feel semi-new, just because I won't wear them that frequently. One thing that jumped out at me immediately, aside from just the color of that suede on the back being so light, I don't remember any other version of the Aqua 8s having a shaggy suede on the back of it as much as what this is. I actually really like that shaggy suede, and I also really like the contrast that the lighter color gives. I've heard a lot of people knock it because it is way lighter than any other version on the Aqua 8 that we've ever seen, but I kind of like it. I like the high contrast that it gives, and I don't mind that it's lighter than the versions that we've seen in the past. I think overall the QC seems pretty good on this pair. There's not a whole lot of blatant errors jumping out at me. There are some sections down in the midsole where you can see a little bit of glue, but it's nothing excessive. It's nothing that makes me think like, oh, that's nasty or anything. Overall, I think they did these pretty well. The traction on the shoe is very similar to what we saw on 6s or 7s. It has a lot of little circles on it, and we have these areas of black rubber that meet the ground, and then under the forefoot we have that Jumpman in a bright red. But this really just takes me back too, because that design is just so 90s. It doesn't get much more retro than that. Then as we come up to the side of the shoe, we can see that that black rubber meets areas of painted foam, and we see a purple color, and it looks like there's some little metallic speckles in it. It does have sparkles on it, but it's not excessive. Then at the midfoot we see a teal color, and then we see more of that sparkly purple paint here towards the back. The paint is very clean, and I really like the finish that we got on that. As we come up from that midsole area, we can see this overlay, and it is a black, teal, and purple color. And again, that's one of those features that as soon as I see it, it just takes me back to my first time looking at these as a child. We do have another smaller overlay just like that on the inside of the shoe. As we come up to the upper of the shoe, this is mostly just a black Durabuck material. The shape of the toe really is reminiscent to the shape of a 7 or a 6. This black material is not genuine at all. It looks nice, but it is a lint magnet, and I think because this suede is a lot shaggier, a lot of this hair kind of comes loose and then it just sticks to this black material. I don't mind that. I'm just letting you all know you will have this looking like it's got dandruff all the time. As we come up the shoe, we can see that we've got this crisscross strap that goes across the laces, and we have a 23 on there, but it kind of just blends in. That comes up to the ankle area, and then the straps say Air Jordan on them, and the Velcro that these straps kind of adhere to wraps around the back, and it kind of just gives it a stripe around the back of the ankle, and I've always thought that was a pretty cool detail. At the base of the tongue, it feels like a neoprene material, and that really feels similar to Jordan 6 or Jordan 7 tongues as well. but that's just in a black color. And on the side of the laces and then wrapping up to the back of the shoe, we can see that lighter gray suede. And as I've already mentioned, it's a shaggier material, but I really like it. And I really like the contrast that it gives being a lighter gray up against this dark black Durabuck. These came with flat black laces in there. I wouldn't think of swapping them to anything else just because I think these look good and this is the way that I've always seen them. The top of the tongue is more of that neoprene type material, and then it's got that shaggy chenille badge. And I'm telling you, when I was a kid, I thought that was one of the coolest little features on this pair. Our sock liner is black, and there you can see that inner booty like we get on Huaraches or 6s or 7s, but that's also in a black color. And then it's hard to see down on the insole because of this booty in here, but it looks like the insole has the same pattern like we see here on the outsole. So that was a pretty quick look at these Aqua Jordan 8s. I really love the way that they look. It does just take me back to when I was a kid and the first time I saw these. They really are something unique and something different than every other retro Jordan silhouette. We don't see 8s that much, so I'm glad they were pretty easy to pick up. I actually don't even know if these sold out or not. I wouldn't be surprised if they did sell out, but on the other hand, I also wouldn't be surprised if they're available for a long time. But let me know what you all think about these. Let me know if this is a pair that you'd pick up or if you just passed on them. I recently got a W on the Total Orange Kobe 6s, so I'll have a review of those coming soon. I also just got notification that my Big Head Mode Air Maxes have shipped. I think they're in Hong Kong right now, but they are making their way here, so that review will be coming up. And then while I was picking these up from Finish Line, I actually saw the Rare Air Jordan 4s in store, so I will have a review of that coming too next week. So be sure to tune in. If you watched up until now and you're not yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I am trying to get to 25,000 subs in the year 2025, and I think we're going to get there. But anyhow, let me know what you think about these shoes. I appreciate you all watching tremendously, and I will catch y'all on the next one. I'm out.